everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kisha. For those of you who might be new here, I blog every day at kjaggers.com. The link is below. Please bear with me. I am dealing with a cold and congestion, and I'm sure I sound really raspy. I got something to drink here, and I will probably just cut that out whenever I need a drink. So I am back today with another part of my travel series, and these are my travel tips for your home. So the holidays are coming up. So many of us are going to be traveling, and these are just my own tips to keep your home a little more safe while you're away. So, you know, Scott and I travel a lot, and we traveled much more in the beginning of our relationship than what we actually do now. So we had to really get our stuff together and make sure our house was protected and our belongings were protected, you know, while we were away. So some of these tips I've used for years, and some of them are new, and maybe you'll just hear a few of them and take them along with you throughout time, and remember, you know, a few of them whenever you're getting ready to, say, go on holiday, or you have something coming up and you have to leave. Hopefully this video will help give you some tips on securing your home. I have more in this series, but today we're going to specifically talk about the home. So one of the best ways to keep your home safe is pretty much having somebody that you trust staying there. That is going to really keep it the safest you're going to be able to do it. And that means finding a house sitter that you know, that you trust, not some freak off Craigslist that you've only, you know, talked to once. And I really feel the same off care.com. I do feel like they do check a little bit more, but when I think of house sitters, it needs to be somebody that you really do know, that you trust, and if something goes wrong, you can hold accountable. And I know that sounds kind of mean, but it's very important. And we've had a few different ones throughout time because we've moved around, and I'm super happy with the lady who house sits for us now, and I trust her completely. But if you can't, you know, have someone come house sit, there's so many other options. Now, I know so many of us turn on our outside front porch light whenever we're going to be away because it looks like at night that we're home. But burglars and people that want to enter your home will kind of scope them out first a lot of times. And I remember telling my grandmother many years back, I was like, Grandma, you don't have to worry about our home getting broken into. We live in a really nice neighborhood, so I'm not worried about it. And she reminded me so sweetly that most of the time criminals are not targeting, you know, bad neighborhoods. They're targeting nice neighborhoods. Duh. Why didn't I know that? I don't know, but it was like a light bulb. So, you know, I do protect things a little bit better. And when you leave the front porch on, the front porch light on anyway, when they're scoping out houses, and if it's on during the day, the chances are they know you haven't been home. Most people would turn it off during the day, you know, right before they leave for work or whatever. Sometimes, you know, families forget, but for the most part, if someone turns on their outside light at night, they turn it off in the morning. So criminals know that. And what's been proven to work better than just leaving the front porch light on full time is a dog bowl. Even if you don't have a dog bowl, having a big dog bowl on your front porch and on your back porch, even if you don't have them, the studies have shown has been more effective. People think you have a dog, and there's so many things you can buy now. You can buy little dogs that bark, the recordings, and you can put it on motion sensor, so if somebody walks by the door, they'll hear the yappity sound or the big barks, like in our case with Cooper. But dog bowls. So I suggest finding some big dog bowls. Make sure they're big so they don't think you have like a Yorkie or something, and put them on the front and back porch, because you don't know which way somebody's going to try to enter your home. It's a good deterrent. Now, this is something I'm not particularly good at, or many of my friends are good at, but keeping your trip private on social media is imperative. That's especially if you don't have a house sitter or an alarm. We have both. So I feel a little bit better saying that we're going to take a trip or posting a picture, from Myrtle Beach. And I feel pretty confident with the neighborhood that I live in and the house sitter and the ladies and the guys across the way really, keep an eye on our home really well. And I feel very protected. But putting it on social media is just stupid. Stupid doing it beforehand, and pretty stupid during it, doing it during, because it lets everybody know your home's unattended. It's available. Most of the time, people know how long you're going to be on if you, get on there and keyed in on Facebook. And I'm not perfect about it, but again, I kind of reason it out that we have the alarm, we have the house sitter, and we have the nosy neighbors. So I think between all of that, I feel pretty secure. But if you don't have all of that, definitely don't blast it on social media. Just don't do it. Post the pictures once you come back, and make sure that you keep it limited on who you do tell, because it does put your home or your apartment or wherever you're living in jeopardy when everybody knows you're leaving. It just does. And I hate to say this, but not all of us live in safe neighborhoods. So if you're in a particularly not safe neighborhood, you definitely don't want to post anything, on social media. Now, this is pretty standard, but definitely go through, check all of your windows. You want to leave your windows locked and secured no matter what. You want to take time to go through and definitely check each one of them. And you want to use the boat locks when you leave, because anybody can get through those little tiny door locks. And make sure you have rods in your sliding glass doors, because those are super easy to break into. Now, there's a big debate, in my opinion, because I've asked a few different people if you should keep your blinds the same or if you should keep them closed. Now, I'm a big believer in keeping them closed. I just am. Most of the time, the back of my house during the day is open. The front of my house is generally pretty much closed up, because we live towards the back of the house mostly, and upstairs. So if you are somebody who opens their blinds a lot, you might want to go ahead and leave those a little bit open, but I wouldn't want any valuables, flat screens, Xbox, game or state, whatever you want to call them, Xboxes or PlayStations or computers or any expensive electronics visible from the windows. I just think that's dumb, and I would say close the blinds. I have read online that you should pretty much do it like you normally would. If they're open most of the time, then leave them open. If they're closed, every night we close our blinds. So, yeah, I say close them personally. Another thing, if you're going to be gone any substantial amount of time, stop your mail. Because if you're somebody who gets checks or even your bills or personal mail-in, number one, people could steal it. Number two, that's another way that criminals see that you're not home. And they will generally hold your mail for 30 days, no problems. You just need to make sure you do it a little bit in advance, like 2 weeks in advance. Let them know at the post office. You fill out a little card that you're going to be away for, how long and how long to hold your mail for. It will stay at the post office, and you can pick it up when you get back. So always do that if you're going to be gone any substantial time. Again, in our case, we have the house sitter. She brings the mail in every single day. Another thing, newspapers that are piling up, and I know newspapers are like a dying breed almost of news, and I love newspapers. I kind of wish I was a journalist, but anyway, piles of newspapers, if you're somebody who subscribes to newspapers on your front porch, also shows criminals you're not home. So stop those, or have a neighbor pick up your mail or newspapers or anything left outside to show people that, you are home when you're not home. Not to be, showing that you're just not there. So make sure that you always stop the newspapers. It just is such a good tip because I know so many people, and I have a lot of friends who come home to piles of newspapers on the front porch after vacation. And I'm like, what are you doing? It just showed everybody that you weren't home. So make sure you have somebody to pick them up or just stop them. Now, inside the house, I always say unplug your appliances. Unplug what you can. Obviously, you can't unplug your refrigerator or your deep freeze, but get your toaster, get TVs, flat screens, get everything you can unplugged, and always clean out your refrigerator because it's going to be smelly maybe when you get back. Eat up the leftovers before you leave. Dump milk that maybe will spoil before you get home. A lot of times, again, in our case, our house sitter just finishes up our stuff and we don't really worry about it. I always make sure I have things for her anyway, but if you're somebody who's just leaving their home, then you definitely want to make sure you clean that refrigerator out. Another thing about your house is so many of people I know have those fake rocks, or lots of fake little things around hide keys. Bring those in. You know, most of the time you're not fooling anybody with a fake rock out in the front yard with a key in it. One place that I have been known to hide keys, which I won't know more after posting this video, but that's okay. I found another place, is in the flower pots. Like, put them in a Ziploc baggie and stick them all the way down in the flower pots. And you have to know which flower pot, obviously. But that's a great place to put the keys for your kids or anybody else. But I think you should always get rid of the outside spare keys. You don't know how smart somebody's going to be, or maybe if your neighbor saw you hiding that key and then know you're going to be away, yeah, no thanks. Bring in all of your hidden keys. That way you don't run the risk of anyone finding them. Another thing, I think you should always maintain your yard right before you leave, because overgrown yards, again, show the criminals you're not home and that your house is vacant. So you could either have your gardening people come out, mow the lawn while you're gone, or have someone you trust do that, or just do it yourself right before you leave, which is generally what we do. So you just don't want your yard to be overgrown, and it's ugly to come home to that anyway, but you might come home to that depending on how long you're gone. But I would always have the yard manicured as much as possible while you're gone, because it just makes it appear like somebody's there. So make sure you do that. Another thing is your garage. So I think in most garages you should always have the windows covered up. I don't ever like any garage with where you can see in through the windows. Ours in this house is fogged, I guess you would say. You can't see in at all. It was the way the garage was when we moved in. But always cover the windows, and you can cover them with newspapers if you have to, or computer paper. Just make sure the windows in your garage are covered, and make sure that you deactivate, just usually by pulling a cord, the automatic garage door opener, so somebody with a universal remote can't come through and open up your garage while you're gone. Because even though maybe they can't access the house that well because that door is all locked up that leads into the house, they can still get into the tools or whatever in the garage. So make sure that you deactivate that automatic garage door opener, which is something very important, and we do it every time. And do the same with the doggy door. Deactivate that. However, some of them are automatic. I know that. I've seen new ones. Some of them you just got to put the plastics, slide down in, shut those doggy doors up. You don't need anybody then crawling through the doggy door to access your house. And it makes it a little more vulnerable if you want to kick in that door because it's already kind of open. So I would make sure to do that. I would also make sure not to leave any away messages on your phone, on your house phone, on your cell phone. Even if you're going on a cruise, don't just leave away messages on your phone. It just lets everybody know again that you are away, your house is empty and available for them to come rob. So don't do that. I blog, you guys, and I do put away messages up. But again, we have an alarm system, which I'll talk about in a minute, and we have a house sitter. We have pretty much always had a house sitter because we have so many animals, and it would cost us a fortune to board them all. The cats, if we're not gone that long, we can leave a lot of food and a lot of water, and lots of clean litter boxes, and they will be fine. But we have Cooper, and it's just been easier to have people come in and take care of our home and take care of our animals and our plants at the same time. But you do have to find somebody you trust to do that. If you leave your alarm clocks up, or your home phone, if you still have one of those, we don't, the ringer's up, and somebody is out on your front porch, they can sit and know you, they can call you and hear that ringing and ringing and ringing, nobody picking it up, or the alarm clock just buzzing, and no, you're not home. So disable all of that. Just turn all the ringers down and make sure you don't have your alarm clock set to go off in the morning. Scott's will go off for a good 20 minutes if you don't wake up. And it's super loud, and I can bet you money somebody was standing outside our door, they would hear that. And if they already think you're away and they come just to double check, and they call your home phone if you still have one, and hear it ringing inside and nobody pick up, clearly, they know. So do not have your ringer up, and always make sure to turn your alarm clocks down. Any electronics that we leave inside our house, we password them suckers up. They are not easy to get into. We don't make it easy for anyone to get away with trying to hack into our stuff. So if you are leaving any kind of electronics, put some passcodes on them. Make sure they're protected so no random stranger can come into your home and access your computer, your pictures, your files. No thanks. Do not do that. So let's talk about alarm systems for a minute. Now, most people, I know the lighting's changing, most people who have known us know that we rent. We have not found the house we want to buy. We are not even in the same state that we want to buy the house yet, and we are completely happy renting. We just are. But we have an alarm system, and we've had one for a very long time. So what I originally did many years ago was just get like the ADT special that I simply seen on TV, and I paid a couple $100 for them to install it, and I pay a small monthly service fee. It's very simple. And then when we move, we just have to pay the reinstallation on the new house. Sometimes it costs a little bit more when we had a bigger house or moved into a bigger house. But it's completely worth it to me. And the last couple of times that we moved, they've actually cut the installation price because we're customers. So with that said, even if you rent, you can get an alarm system, and it's not near as expensive as you think. It's a few $100 to get it set up, and then a couple, $250, I think. I don't remember anymore. But there's specials on them all the time, and then a small monthly fee, and I think it's worth it, especially if you have kids in the house. But there is an app, and I cannot remember the name, but I will find it and put it below, where you install one camera, or however many cameras, and you can view it simply on your phone. Another great way to watch your house, even if you do have somebody staying. You could do that to keep an eye on them, or to keep an eye on your animals maybe while they're away, doing their thing, and your animals are home alone. Maybe that app would work. I cannot remember the name to save my life, but I will make sure to find it and link it below. Also, usually, with a lot of them anyway, there is the vacation program with the police. So check your local areas. And check your local police station and see if they have the vacation program. You just simply tell them, how long you're going to be out of town, where you live, and they will do more random drive-bys of your house, and just to make sure everything looks right, and keep a little bit better watch on your home. Most police departments offer that, and even if they don't have the program, they usually will still do it for you if you talk to them. And there is also the neighbor watch, where somebody will come over and check your mail, get your newspapers for you, open and close your blinds. That's another great way, especially if you don't have pets, to still take care of everything but not have to hire a house sitter, just to have a neighbor come in and out. I still think you should pay them something But it's really nice if they can bring the trash cans out to make it look like your home on trash day, to bring the mail in. There's other alternatives to a full-time live-in house sitter, and a neighbor watch is kind of the same thing, but just not full-time. I think you should always video your house before leaving. Most of us have phones, no matter if they're smartphones or flip phones, and all of them have cameras that I know of, and there's no excuse for not videoing your home before you leave for any trip. No excuse at all. It's great for insurance. Something happens, house fire, and make sure there's a timestamp. And I upload the pictures the same day that I record that video. I upload the pictures and video. It's really the video. I upload those the same day, so it will show on my laptop what day it was uploaded, just in case I end up in court. They will see that, you know, the timestamp is right, and I uploaded them on the day I did the video, and you can't really change that. So I always video it, and there's just no excuse not to do it. You can still, like I said, use your phone, and it protects you in so many ways. Go through every room and show what you have in that room. Show what your TVs are. Show what electronics are staying. Show the jewelry that you might be leaving. Moving on into something like jewelry, I think you need to have a safety deposit box. Personally, I don't think the little handheld safes are worth the shit. Somebody can pick it up and walk out of your house with it. If you want to make the investment in a big safe, wonderful. Something somebody can't walk out with, that's better. But safety deposit box is a great thing to have for cash, wills, jewelry, heirlooms, and they don't cost that much. And if you are going on vacation, or you're on a holiday or a business trip, and you have some jewelry that you're not taking with you but you're going to be leaving, put it in that safety deposit box, or leave it with a trusted friend or family member. Do not leave it in your house, unsafe. No. And those little handheld safes that you can buy at Walmart, anybody can walk off with. And sure, it might take them a while to get inside of it, but they sure have your jewelry in the meantime. Now, the last couple things I want to talk to you about are the taxi driver and the airport. So sometimes you have a taxi driver or a limo driver or just a driver, period, come pick you up to take you to the airport. Be very careful what you tell them. I would always lie and tell them that a house sitter is staying. If I tell them anything about my trip, they're going to see your luggage if it's a trip. And sometimes I would even say leave from a friend's house that is not going to be vacant. Be careful what you tell the taxi drivers or the drivers, period, about how long you're going to be gone, where you're going, all that good stuff. They could pick you up somewhere else, from your office, from, anywhere, a restaurant if need be. But it's a lot better than sitting there gabbing and letting them know that you're going to be in Hawaii for a week and you're so excited and you'll be back, next Friday, and they're so friendly. Can you get their card so you can call them? I've been in a cab and I've seen so many people do that. And you make a friendship, you think, in just a matter of minutes. But don't tell them your travel plans. I know it seems kind of self-explanatory. Just don't do it. Everybody is tempted to. If you drive yourself to the airport, get the GPS out of your car and take it with you on the trip. Simple as that. Or take out the home destination because people are going to see it. You need to wipe the GPS ring off your window if it's going to be parked there too, because that shows you might have one. That makes people more inclined to break into your cars. Airports are not responsible for lost or stolen items. Those signs are everywhere. And if you have home programmed in your GPS that is left in your car that somebody breaks into, they're going to have your home address. They're going to know your way because your clerk is clearly at the airport. They don't know if you have a family. They don't know if your house is empty, but they do know your address, and anything can happen. So I always just pack the GPS. I throw it in my bag and I just take it with me. But always wipe off that little ring, because that is an incentive for a lot of criminals to break in your car. So those are my top tips to keep your home safe while you're away. I'll be back with a lot of videos in this series. I've just been really sick. I had a heck of a time uploading my weekend review. Come to find out, it was YouTube messing up. It's not my videos. If there's some lines in the videos like a broken TV, that is YouTube. That is not me. I worked like 3 days straight re-uploading and re-editing and saving, and only to figure out it was YouTube. So I hope this one doesn't mess up. If it does, bear with me. I know that in the other ones you can still hear audio. I think YouTube's working on it, and I hope this one does not have that problem. But I've been sick. That's been going on. My husband was off work yesterday, so I wasn't able to really record well. And it's just been hard, but I'm trying to get back on schedule. I wanted to share these travel tips for your home, and I'll be back with travel tips, like I said, for flying safe, for safe hotel accommodations, for traveling with pets, which is a big one. A lot of videos from this travel series, and they'll just be coming up over time, so stay tuned for those. And if you have any travel tips of your own for your home specifically, I would love it if you shared it in the comments below or the comments on my blog post that accompanies this video, because you know we are all here to learn from each other, and you could share something to me that maybe I wasn't aware of. I do know somebody said they like to put a tray of ice in their freezer, and if it's melted or something, the freezers went out. Our freezer has an automatic ice machine, so I think if it was full of water, we would know if the electricity went out. But if you do have tips of your own, I would love to hear from you, and I know all the other viewers would love to read your tips too, because we all want to keep our home safe. With the holidays coming up, so many of us are going to be traveling, so I hope some of these stick in your mind and, you know, keep your home safe. And I'll be back very soon with another video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any more videos or any new videos. And check out my blog at kjaggers.com. The link is below. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.